What is going on, everybody? It is Alex coming back at you with another video, and today I skipped the Panthers, so it's time to give y'all a 7-round Panthers mock draft. I'm going to start cranking out a lot more of these, and I'm going to start making shorts out of them as well, so stay tuned for that in case you guys want a very quick summary version of it, but this is more fun for me, and I hope it's going to be a lot more fun for you guys. Let's get right into it. Of course, if you guys are new, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. You guys know how to use YouTube at this point. Also, if you guys are new, I don't just do these videos out of my ass. I want to make sure that we know the full roster. So we're going to be going over it right here on spottrack.com. It's as of today. So if anything happens after, shit happens. But we're going to break it down the way that we normally do. Quarterback, we're going to be changing that up really quick. But of course, my buddy Matt Corral here from Oaks Christian. Love to see him. I hope he gets traded to somewhere. And maybe the Colts would be a really fun destination. Put him there with Michael Pittman Jr., obviously his number one wide receiver from high school. That'd be cool, but it just kind of sucks that a third-round pick already is pretty much taken out of the picture by a new regime. But, of course, we all kind of knew Matt was not going to be the true future of the team. Miles Sanders got brought on for a nice, hefty contract. Of course, only 13 of that was guaranteed, so focus on that more than the amount that is the overall budget. But Chuba Hubbard, great RB2. These running backs did a great job last year because of the offensive line play. We'll talk about those guys in a second. But wide receivers, Adam Thielen just came in. 3-year deal's pretty hefty, but obviously, again, if you break it down, it's essentially a 2-year deal. So, it is what it is. Adam Thielen's a solid veteran guy to have in there. Terrace, I hope he takes that big step up because I have a lot of faith in him. LaVisca has just been super inconsistent. DJ wants to hit the market after this year, so it's another prove-it deal, and he just subtracted his salary by half. Maybe they'll light a flame under his ass to actually be a true wide receiver one, and I'm all here for it. Obviously, incredible speed, incredible build, and you have a lot of really good receivers. Of course, DJ Moore would be pretty nice. Hey, I'm sorry to hit a soft spot for y'all, but I don't think it's the end-all be-all. I don't think that you guys are completely screwed here. Of course, getting a wide receiver in round 2, round 3 is not out of the equation. So looking at the tight ends, Hayden Hurst was just brought in for a 3-year contract. Of course, again, you look at the guarantees, it's essentially a 2-year plus a potential option to keep him a third. I think that's excellent. Tight end was a big area of unknown for you guys because Tommy Tremble hasn't taken that real step up yet, and that hurts me because I loved Tommy Tremble. But I think these guys can definitely have a really solid season as a tight end group. Offensive line-wise, Icky has been rock solid, great selection, and I was a big fan of it. I was like, yes, they did not take a quarterback, and they did the right move. Even though it costed the regime's jobs, they did the right thing, and I have full respect for a regime that's willing to put their jobs on the line to do the right thing. And then Taylor Moton, so you have arguably one of the better bookend tackle duos in the NFL, which is crazy to think about because that has not really been the case for a while. Interior offensive line, you got Corbett here, solid dude. Brady Christensen's been still playing very well, and you have some good backups. I don't think offensive line is going to be my primary focus, and I love the fact you got Bradley Bozeman on a 3-year deal. That was incredible. So offensive line, this is where I'm kind of get a little bit irritated since Daniel Jeremiah took one in his first mock draft. It's like there's really no logic you can have when looking at it. You guys have a very consistent offensive line, and there's a reason why the running backs, even after CMC was gone, were very productive, and you're looking at the holes they were creating. It was awesome. So this team has a lot of potential, and there's a reason people say I smoke crack when I do my 2024 mocks, which I just have one up over within the past couple weeks. I always have the Panthers in the playoffs because I do believe this team, with the right quarterback, can make a really good push. But cornerback-wise, Deontay Jackson, just super unreliable in terms of health. J.C. Horn's a stud. It's kind of hard to believe that he's just going into, I believe, his 3rd year in the league. But, again, you just got to stay healthy. Got to stay healthy, guys. C.J. Henderson, he got pretty much exposed when these guys were not on the field. But, again, solid corner 3. I don't think it counts out a corner 2 because Dante is just, again, unreliable. And that's a big thing. I usually go defensive line out, but I really wanted to talk about that first. We'll end off on the safeties. But defensive tackle-wise, you guys actually brought in quite a few dudes in this offseason, if I'm not mistaken, and Shy Tuttle was one of the big ones, the big additions here. But Derek Brown, obviously, you guys are going to be running a 3-4. I think the idea is to kick him to 3-4 end. I'm not fully down for that, but again, I'm not the one running the team. Defensive end-wise, Brian Burns, Gross Matos. Gross Matos, he just never hit his full stride, and that's a little bit unfortunate. But you got guys like Amari Barno who still have so much potential. I think Amari ran like a 4.38, and I mean, again, this kid, he hasn't been able to even prove himself yet, and I think he can be a very solid edge rusher, but we're not seeing a true edge 2 on this team right now, and that's the unfortunate thing. So pushing into the linebacker group, I love Frankie Louvu. He's going to be pass rushing a little bit. He's that outside linebacker flex guy. Really big fan of him, and I hope you guys bring him back. Really good breakout player. Brandon Smith, I hope that he's able to, get back to where he was starting to project at Penn State. He fell for a reason. That's because he's super raw. So he still needs some time to develop. Very young, so that's a big plus. But Brandon Smith could have used another year in college for sure. But now he's here, and that's a great thing. Shaq Thompson, I heard that there were talks about not keeping him around, but that contract is beautiful for him. So I obviously think that based on that extension, he's definitely sticking around. But I still think there should be another linebacker in the mix. I am not fully confident in Brandon Smith and Shaq Thompson to handle the full workload because I would think Frankie Louvu would be more suited as that hybrid pass rusher. Please feel free to correct me if I am wrong. Ending off on the safeties, Von Bell, solid signing in the offseason. Xavier Woods has been consistent. Jeremy Chin, there are rumors of him moving to linebacker, so I'm eating crow on this one. But Jeremy Chin, obviously a fantastic player. It's going to be tough to re-sign Chin, Chark potentially as well as, now I'm bugging on the guy's name, Brian Burns in the same offseason. But let's get right into the mock draft. No real reason to push this any further. I did have this scheduled to do a PNP, but maybe we'll just do that in the future. Stay tuned for that. At this spot, I mean, the beauty of this is that you can select which quarterback that you want. For me, I think Bryce Young's the best QB in the class. CJ Stroud might be your favorite. I think CJ's the more likely selection, but again, that's the beauty of this. We're not picking number 2. So the number 2 pick should be whatever happens as a fallout because of this. I just think that CJ is going to be the more likely option. So I'll opt for that, but I do think Bryce Young is the better talent. I do have my board below my face. It is not fully up to date as of last night because a lot of stuff changed when we did a good old tape study. We haven't done those in a hot minute. But at pick number 39, I still think an edge rusher is not an awful idea at all. B.J. Ojolari would be incredible. He solidified himself high up on my board. You could go Adebawore for sure because I do think that'd be a good move for the team. Wide receiver wise, I feel like I can wait. I'm perfectly fine taking A.T. Perry later on if I really am that desperate. So I think a position I'm really trying to target here is going to be that edge rusher. You could look at corner as well if you don't have faith in Dante Jackson. I don't, but it doesn't pass my number 6 overall player in the class. And I think BJ learning alongside Brian Burns would be incredible. So that is the move that we are going to make. I'm actually surprised PFF. Well, for the amount that they're charging other people, they better make sure that their mock draft simulator is pretty up to date in terms of speed. But at pick number 93, Isaiah McGuire would have been a good pick as well to play on the inside if that is something that you guys would be open to. Glad to see Wanya Morris getting a bit of the respect that he does deserve. But let's look at a couple other positions. I think running back you could see for a compliment here, but I'd honestly wait. If you want to get a receiving back style, that Deuce Vaughn's going to be incredible value for you later on based on this mock draft simulator, not based on reality. I think wide receiver, Kayshon Boutte might be the perfect dude to grow and develop here. He's had an atrocious offseason, but the talent is undeniable. You cannot reject the fact that when you see him on the field, his play is incredible. I seriously have no idea what the hell happened to him. I seriously don't. And I was viewed as a hater because I started dropping him out of my first because I thought there was personality concerns. I mean, there's definitely something going on there, but I think that's the best move, man. We already got quarterback. Tight end's not a position I'm going to address. Offensive line's already out of the question. Running back's not good enough value. Like the corners, you could go one right here. Like Eli Ricks would be great value, but I think there's so many corners before him that I'm going to take the chance on that versus I don't think I can take a chance on Kayshon Boutte. And looking at the guys down the board, I think there is a significant drop-off in the potential of the receivers. So we go that route. Let's see if we can still snag a star corner, and we get absolutely fucked. Nice. Corey Trice is a good player, though. He's above, I think on Broshma's board, he's above Eli Ricks. So still a guy who I think should be in the equation. Isaiah McGuire might be the dude who I keep as a 3-4 defensive end. He is of 270 pounds. He just wasn't the most athletic guy, but, you know, his play on tape is incredible. Voorhees would be an awesome guy to bring in as a depth guard as well. Could go Deuce Vaughn here. Let's go Deuce Vaughn. I know we just signed a running back. We have some dudes on roster for sure, but I have Deuce Vaughn as a top 40 player, and I'm just a huge fan of his. So I'm going to show a little bit of love there. And actually, we're going to go Corey Trice here. We're going to continue developing that secondary because injuries do happen and quite often to our starters. So maybe taking a swing on somebody who has that potential is a good idea. Now, I just wish, like, part of me wishes some of your offensive linemen were a little bit questionable because I love some of the offensive linemen at this point, but it's kind of saving me the ability to draft them for other teams. So thank you for that. At this spot, I think it's just BPA. Like, we just went running back. We've already gone a corner. We've already gone edge rusher. Like, you can look at linebacker, but I don't think anybody's remotely worth it. So going after the best players is probably the best thing you can do. You can go Starling Thomas here, but I feel like that's a little redundant with the Baylor corner you took last year because both of them are extremely athletic players. Jared Clark, I think that's the right move. Jared Clark can play a nose tackle position. I love Jared Clark myself. He is 334. I know we have Marquand McCall, his fat ass, on the roster, but for me, I think Jared Clark, he brings that pass rushing upside as well. I would love to see him and Derek Brown on the same front. He's one of those guys who was extremely underrated, played very well at the Senior Bowl. So that is going to be the draft. I'd actually be so happy with this. You get yourself potentially all starters except for Corey Trice, because I love Deuce. I think he's better than Miles Sanders. Just that's my personal opinion. But you get your QB1, whether that's CJ Stroud, whether that's Bryce Young, that's your own prerogative. BJ Ojolari is just too good of value. And then Kayshon Boutte, too much upside. Deuce is just incredible. And then you got yourself a potential guy to fill in, and then a guy who could start at nose. So let me know what you guys think. I'm glad that PFF agrees it's an A-. I know there's some picks in there that are more close to my heart than somebody else's, but it is what it is. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the far side.